Alright everyone, how's it going? And welcome to the second episode of Drinking in Bed, talking about film, where I'm back with a different drink and different film topic. The drink for today's episode is a pre-mixed can of Captain Morgan's Spiced Rum and Coke. So the topic for today's episode is a review of Christopher Nolan's latest film, Tenet. Now Tenet's a film about a CIA agent, played by John David Washington, who gets involved in a plot involving time inversion, which threatens to end the world. So in this review today, I'm just going to go through what I liked about the film, what I maybe thought were its weaknesses or where it could have been improved, and then at the end I'm just going to give a rating out of 10, just to sum up my thoughts on the film. One thing that's undeniable for me about Christopher Nolan films is the brilliant way that he puts together set pieces, and there's no difference in that here. The way that time inversion is used in the film is really creative and leads to some brilliant action set pieces. The acting performances are all solid, especially with Kenneth Branagh, who I wasn't expecting to see in here because it's not been publicised too much about him being in the film. And I also really liked Robert Pattinson in this film, Elizabeth Debicki, and John David Washington gives a solid performance in the film too. Even though I would have liked to see him be a bit more expressive in some of the key scenes, I feel like the script held him back a bit in that regard, and his character can come across as quite cold in some parts, which makes it hard to connect to him. The cinematography was also brilliant, and it was really impressive and helped to give the film a large scale feel. So it's a perfect blockbuster film, and a great film to be out in cinemas now, with the UK coming out of lockdown and this being one of the first films out as cinemas reopen. Where Tenet's slightly weaker for me than past Nolan films comes from two issues which I think are slightly connected. So the first issue is the lack of an emotional core, and this is something that I feel like Nolan's excelled at in the past. What he does really well is he introduces a high level concept but brings it down to a more human and personal level. So the closest thing I can think of to compare this to is Inception. So it was a high level concept and there were a few bits of emotional core elements within the film, but the main emotional core is Leonardo DiCaprio's character and his desire to get back to see his kids. Here I thought the concept was really impressive, but it really did lack that emotional connectivity, which I feel lowered the tension and stakes throughout, despite the plot obviously feeling like it should have been quite urgent, but because I couldn't connect to the characters or the plot, it made it difficult for me to care as much. A part of this I do feel was the second issue, which is the sound mixing. So especially in the first half of the film, when he's trying to get into the plot details and he's trying to get into the character development, the background music was really drowning out the dialogue, which made it really frustrating and jarring to get into. And I feel for a film like this, I've seen a few people maybe saying it was to give you a bit of a disconcerting or uncomfortable feel, but if it was on purpose, I don't really think it worked. I think it took away from the film quite a bit for me. On the whole, I did enjoy Tenet and I had a real good time with it, even if I did think it was a bit weaker than some of Nolan's previous films. Mostly due to that lack of emotional investment, to be honest. Throughout like the Dark Knight trilogy, Memento, Interstellar, obviously Inception, I thought they all had brilliant emotional moments that sort of took the film up to great levels, past good into great, and I think Tenet was just missing out on that here. But overall, I think I'm going to go with a 7 out of 10. Alright, thanks for watching. That brings us to the end of the drink. Leave your thoughts on Tenet below and any suggestions for any future film topics to cover, or any drinks you'd like me to try. Until next time, cheers!